Yeah, so Boitumelo Mofikoe,
Mm-hmm.
that's my name. From the VAR. It's a small township. I mean, in a small township called Sibuke. But yeah, I mean, from there, primary, I was in Vanderbijl, a school called Pine Dean, and then I think after grade 7, I went to the School of Excellence. It's a soccer academy.
Yeah,
So, I mean, for the better part of my life, I thought I was going to play soccer.
sure.
School of Excellence, I played soccer, I was doing well academically. And then I realized there's actually more to life than soccer.
Yeah,
Of course, I mean, with a bit of a push and a nudge from my parents, you know,
Mhm.
they were always of the belief that education comes first and then football is secondary. So
Yeah.
if I wanted to play football, I had to make sure that my grades were up to scratch. As a result, I worked very hard, in Top Achievers Awards.
yeah.
I then moved on to Wits University, where I got a scholarship to basically play football and study. So it was the best of both worlds.
Yeah,
Yeah, so-
Which is very rare anyway.
Yeah, look, I had to. I mean, I had sleepless nights. But
Yeah, it's one of those things that you have to do.
I had to make it work.
Sure.
Yeah, but I mean, from there, I mean, it was alright. I mean, I think I only dropped off on the football in my honors year when I was doing accounting. So I was studying Bachelor of Accounting, the CA stream. And in my 4th year, I realized, I mean, we were training twice a day, and I realized that it just wasn't working out because after training, you're tired. You have lectures to attend, you have tests, exams, so it was getting a bit much.
Sure.
And then I had to drop off the football.
Yeah.
That's me in a nutshell about my
Past.
my past. And being the kind of person I am, I'm very entrepreneurial spirit. So I've always wanted to venture out into entrepreneurship and whatever. And I mean, everyone has that, but you're not sure what, right? What it is exactly. But in my mind, I knew that I wanted to make a difference in the small business space, but I wasn't sure, I mean, how that was going to happen. So what happened is that, I mean, I met a guy by the name of Mr. Temegwai, a very fascinating guy. We had the same passion about small business, and we decided, you know what, let's co-invest. I mean, let's invest in small businesses. So it started as a venture capital firm. So we set up a structure. We're investing in small businesses, and we realized that, we're not really addressing the problem, which is building small businesses. And we thought it's all fine and well to invest and then hopefully get our money out, but what if we could actually control that path to where a company moves from being a small company to where a company lists on a JSE or a company sold to another institution? What if we could actually channel the company, help it grow? Because we've got this corporate experience, I've got this background in big corporate. What if I help these smaller guys travel the same path? And we decided to set up my growth fund, and that's how my growth fund was set up. And enterprise development, incubation, and funding hub. We come in, and we mentor entrepreneurs. So we help. So if you were to ask me what I do for a living, I'd tell you that I build businesses for a living. So we build this thing from scratch. Sometimes not really literally from scratch, but you running, you've got your own business, you're making money, but you don't know how to get to the next level.
Sure.
So we get in, we put in the proper structures, we help you run this thing efficiently, so that when you get to a level where you actually need funding, we with you and we realize that there's actually a funding need here to get to that stage of maybe on the path to list or wherever you're going. So by doing it this way, we're able to have a clear view that this guy actually is at a point where his business has grown big enough, and his business is at a point where if he doesn't get funding, then it definitely won't get to the next level. So we put in those structures and we build these businesses that way. So we've got this business amplifier program that takes entrepreneurs through a very rigorous program, not just a theoretical exercise where you put in a classroom and you get taught what financial management. We don't believe in that. So we're entrepreneurs, right?
Yeah.
We know what's required to build a business and what are some of the things that make an entrepreneur switch off. So if I was to put an entrepreneur in a boardroom and showed him what financial management is, what tax management is, and spoke at him and in a sort of a pedagogic way of learning, that wouldn't work.
Yeah, true.
He pretends that he understands, he's listening, but when he goes home, all that knowledge or whatever you were teaching him flies out the window.
Yeah.
So that's the reason we don't do it that way. So we get in the business, get our hands dirty.
Let's talk about that.
Alright, so specifically zoning in Johannesburg, I think we've got a lot of talented individuals. We've got people that have really, really good business models, good business ideas. But what I don't like, and this is something that we're seeing very often, is that everyone seems to have this idea that we need funding.
Yeah.
Funding is like a buzzword, man. Funding it's become this
the hype word.
The hype word, man. Everyone talks funding. If I look at 90% of the businesses that say they need funding, and I actually drill down, get in the business, realize that you actually don't need funding. You just need to start operating, prove or cement your business model, and funding is not really an issue. So we've got, on the one end, we've got financial institutions that say we need funding. We've got the funding, we're ready to act, to fund these businesses. We're ready to do this, And on the other end, you get entrepreneurs that say we need funding. Why is there not a match for the funding that's there? There are thousands of funds that are being set up. I'm sure you would know this. There are thousands of funds, but why is it that it's not getting to the entrepreneurs? Simply because the entrepreneur has not really understood what needs to be done to get funding. One, hasn't understood that to get funding, you need to have a model in place and a system in place to say, if I give you funding, this money won't go to waste. So no one wants to fund something that they're not sure it's going to go anywhere. That's the first thing. The second, another thing is that the entrepreneurs with good ideas, very good ideas, that say they need funding, and then they come to us and they ask us for funding, and we take them through the process of how we do things, and then after the meeting they realize, you know what, guys, I came here looking for funding, but I realized there's actually a way that I can start this thing and make it cash generative, and then reinvest in myself, so that when I get to a point where I'm asking for funding, I'm not just asking for funding for an idea. I'm asking for funding to grow my business. I'm asking for funding to get to another level. So it's very unfair. I think it's very unfair, and it's sometimes sad to expect someone to fund an idea that you've never tested. Something that you think you thought about in your sleep or whatever. In your backyard, chilling with friends at a bar. And then you come to me and say, hey, listen, I've got this idea. It's going to be the next biggest thing. I can make a boat that flies. And you expect me to put in my hard-earned money into your model that you haven't even tested. So that for me is one of the biggest issues that I'm seeing. But besides that, I think there's a lot of potential. And I think there are a lot of good ideas, but the entrepreneurs need to be developed. I think the entrepreneurs need to be sharper. If you look at other markets like Kenya, Ghana, it's a different kind of entrepreneur. They don't just run around looking for funding. They make sure that they put in their life savings or whatever, and they put in whatever is necessary, and then only ask for funding at a later stage where the business model is already in place and things are operating. So South Africa, it's different in that way. We've got a lot of talent. And I say talent meaning we've got a lot of skilled people, very educated people, people with phenomenal, educational backgrounds. We've got CAs, which is a very prestigious qualification. We've got engineers. We've got all these this arsenal of educational beings, that are at our disposal. And I think that's another thing we should tap into. But all these people are stuck in corporate.
Yeah.
So they're typically not your entrepreneurs. Another pro about the entrepreneurship space is that we're starting to see a lot of innovative ideas, in the sense that we're starting to see a lot of tech that's coming through. That's changing the world. We personally have invested in some tech businesses that are doing well. They're sure they've got their challenges, but there's a lot of innovative tech coming through.
Sure.
And that's something that we're keeping a close eye on. Because there are a lot of accelerators down in Cape Town that are bringing out entrepreneurs with good models and good tech businesses. Yeah. So I think tech it's the next big wave. Well, it's already here, right? A business is a business. There's a system of running a business. So if you look at all the listed corporates, they've got a system of running a business. So even if, don't you wonder why is it that you can take a CEO, let's say you get a CEO of Transnet or CEO of another corporate, Imperial, then you plug him into a construction company, and after some time he's able to run this business, he's able to actually get the business to the next level, but he's never been in construction. You realize that there's a science to this, that people think you need to be a good entrepreneur, you need to be a sector specific, you need to know everything about construction, but that's not how we look at it. We look at it as we specialists in building businesses. Give us any business, whether it's a cleaning business, whether it's a construction business, we'll get in there and put the proper systems and put the proper channels to growth. So this business is not easy. It's a tough and lonely road. For someone starting up, I'd say we get to not to get too bogged down on business plans and the detail and redefining your plan and all this. So there's what we call, in our world, is what we call the fallacy of the perfect business plan. And what that simply means is that you draw up this business plan, killer presentation. Come to our offices, you present the business plan, and so we ask you a set of questions, and then fine, you take the product to market, and you actually realize, this is not working. I actually need to change my product lines. I need to sell, instead of selling sweets, I need to sell whatever, detergents or whatever.
Sure.
As an example. But the problem here is that you spend a year on a business plan or whatever, maybe I'm exaggerating, 6 months on a business plan, only at the end of it to find out that, actually, the way I looked at it was wrong. I should have actually started first, operated, and then started a business plan. So that's what we call the fallacy of the perfect business plan. Stop wasting time on developing the perfect plan, because you can never have the perfect idea. When you get to market, that's when you realize that you've got a business or you don't. So my advice to guys would be to start early. Fail your way to success. You need to start minimizing the cost or the penalty of failure. The sooner you start, and the quicker you realize that actually this is not working. So if you were to shorten the period to a month, to say, I started this business, sold, went to market, didn't work, in a month, then you realize after a month, then it's fine, walk back, fix it. 2 months later, you start with a different thing, then you realize, actually, wow, I've saved myself 6 months of building a business plan, only to go to the market and realize, damn, it's not working. So minimize the penalty. That's a penalty of failure. A penalty of failure. Just minimize it. Shorten your window and start. That's the best advice I can give to you. Stop wasting your time and going here and there. Let's redefine this thing and tweaking. I find a lot of guys waste a lot of time at that phase. business it's business, man. It's not rocket science, right?
Sure.
Which is why, I mean, guys that drop out or whatever can do it. It doesn't mean if you've got the certificate of CA or whatever, then it means you're a good businessman. You know?
Yeah.
We found that, I mean, a lot of guys that have dropped out are doing very well.
Sure.
You know? But also, it doesn't mean that you don't need to study and all that. It is very important. You know? But I'm glad you came through this conversation, and all the best.